You're listening to 182.3, Care What People Think.
Welcome back to the Care What People Think podcast. For this week's episode, we're going to be talking about how much sleep we need and pretty much the importance of how important. Fuck. Yeah, that. What Ryan
Sorry,
just
you're putting me to sleep, but it's important, so that's good.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that today. Just like every episode, going to go over what I've been proud of this week, which I'm actually stoked that I've even done this. I know I've said a lot lately that I've kind of reevaluated my kind of lifestyle and I've like switched up to working out in the morning. But dude, I am so proud of myself that for the last 4 weeks, I've actually meal prepped like every week genuinely. Because I think one episode I said I meal prepped, but I only did it for like two times or whatever. And then it was off and then on and then off. Bad routine, right? Last episode, bad routine.
Yep.
So now I actually have a whole section in my own personal Notion. So a way to organize all the information where I have recipe rotations. So I literally have a table chart that says like snacks, breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert. And then I looked up recipes and I have about 3 or 4 per table. And then I have the ingredients written and then I have the screenshot of the like recipe on my phone. And so then on Sundays, the last 4 weeks, I literally sit on my couch. And I'm like, hey, what am I making this week? And then I actually write down the groceries I need. And then I actually go to the store. And then I actually come home and make. Yeah, then, no, I steal them actually.
And combine the ingredients based off of a rubric to make water.
Rubric. You threw me back into English class.
Sorry about that. Based off of a
score of 5. 5 on the rubric. Everyone wants to shoot for 5 on the rubric because that's going to get them the best grade possible for their future.
I couldn't think of another word for rubric. Based on a list. Based on a
list. No, I literally, but I like go and I cook food at like 5 p.m. So it's not even late. So then I have enough time to do dishes after I've done cooking. And then it gives me anywhere from 3 to 5 meals during the week. And then if I just have like sandwiches and snacks as like an alternating lunch, then that means I have like dinners. And then I also this week, I went to Trader Joe's and I bought like a couple microwave meals as like last resort option. So I'm
you're
getting
cheating?
No.
I'm just kidding.
No.
Also, like, what is cheating? There's not really cheating.
That's cheating, but it's different because every time I say like meal prep, Ryan's always like, "Oh man, that couldn't be me. I'm too interested in too many different foods."
I tried it though. I tried it. The reason why I say that is because it's from actual experience. I made like different. So I made like a Mexican dish. I made a just like steak, like more of like an American dish, if you will. I think those were like the 2 main ones. Like I made like 6 of each for like the first week.
Jeez.
Yeah, no, I just made like a lot of it, right? And I would eat them for like a couple lunches or a couple dinners for like the week or 2 that I like they were good for, And after a while I was like, wait, I'm not really enjoying this anymore. And it's not that I'm picky, but I would just like rather have a fresh meal. Like I would rather have like something on the stove. So I'm like, why am I doing this? Like I think it's great for like getting in your calories and making it quick and easy. But for me, sometimes I'm like, I just need something that's a little bit more fresh. So that's my opinion.
That's why you need like, I don't know. For me, I have like the meal I made was fucking brilliant. I went to Trader Joe's and I was trying to buy steak, but they only had shredded steak. So then I marinated shredded steak in barbecue sauce and seasonings and put that in the fridge for like 3 fucking hours. Took it out, cooked 2 pounds of the steak on a pan, and then put it in a bowl, and then that was my meal prep done. Really, for the main
sounds
meal.
Like a prodigy of Gordon Ramsay. Like, what is going on?
I went to Hell's Kitchen and I learned how to open the refrigerator and take out frozen meat and cook it on a pan.
And next week, Will will have a British accent. Perfect. Awesome. Great.
The water sound effect where it goes shing. Kitchen nightmares. I am an idiot
eliminated.
Sandwich.
What? Dude, we've been 4 minutes, 45 seconds into this, and we haven't said one thing about sleep.
No, because I can sleep better knowing how proud I am.
Hey, you know what's more important?
What?
Sleep. Sleep is more important. You want to know why?
Why?
Well, I'm going to bring back to a conversation we had. This was actually just a night ago, but we were just talking about jet lag and when we travel to and from Europe from the US. And you told me that you start feeling depressed and questioning your life. Not really questioning
Bro,
it, but
no,
being a little
it's
bit.
weird. It's
Okay.
weird.
But let me finish this. But you're a little bit like philosophical somehow, actually, which is like a very weird mindset to have, right? But after a day or two of good rest and being in Europe or being back in the States, um, being back in your own time zone, you feel normal again. So, how much of this do you think is affected by sleep patterns? And I want you to give me a percentage out of 100.
Wait, what?
So, like, the
I
sleep
don't.
sleep do you think sleep is like the main reason you're jet lagged, or is it because you're in a different time zone? Like, I know they're kind of the same thing, but I wanted to get
What?
at the point because you're still
It.
technically getting 8 hours, right?
Well, no. Are you? Are you trying to say it's because of sleep? Because I would argue it's not because of sleep. Your
Yeah, no, that's why I
circadian
want to hear
rhythm's
my
off.
perspective. Okay,
You
okay.
just
So it's
you
that, but then why, like, why are you feeling, is that why you're feeling the way you are? Do you think that's because of your
well,
circadian
yeah,
rhythm?
I think when your circadian rhythm gets thrown off when you go really far, like when you travel really far, you've been in the same routine, if you will, of seeing the
Hmm.
sun at certain times. And then when you change it up, your body takes time to adjust because you're, like you said, if you're going to go on a plane to Europe, you're going to sleep on the plane. But if, say, your flight's at 4 p.m., you're not normally used to sleeping at 4 p.m. You say you would fall asleep at like 11 p.m., but you're not going to wait 7 hours into your flight to fall asleep. So like, it's kind of, I guess it's
So what
both,
I
but I would say it's
yeah,
like
what I was trying
circadian
to get
rhythm.
at is like you do maybe have like on those travel days like from the US to Europe, right? You might be awake for 30 hours at a time and then go to sleep. And obviously your circadian rhythm is like a factor, but those sleep patterns that from last week, if you will, the routine of sleep, that is so important and gets affected so much by like just travel. So I just wanted to see if like you thought it was kind of affected or not at all or whatever it is, but I just wanted to see what you would say.
Well, now I feel dumb because I am like 99% sure the reason you get jet lag is only for circadian rhythm. It has nothing to do with sleep. Which
That's
doesn't
fair.
prove your point. So,
No, that's fair.
but
So 0%.
but
Yeah,
also your sleep is your circadian rhythm. Like
exactly.
you go to bed. Man said exactly when I gave him a hard
No, I
time.
want
It
to
would
see
be.
what you say because I don't think there's a genuine like answer. I think it's just I wanted to have an outside perspective.
That's so funny that you said. That's funny, but I get what you're saying. Um,
Basically, I think it's up for interpretation to an extent because obviously travel days can change. Everything can change to an extent, but like I was just trying to get at the fact that like sleep patterns can change a lot with traveling and
okay,
being in a new
yeah.
area. Uh, yeah, a lot of factors, but I'm gonna do a little quick side note. Um, but actually, have you ever dove into the topic of drunk sleep versus regular sleep? This is actually a really interesting topic.
No, actually,
So, I mean, you can just say yes or no, and then I'll kind of
yes,
explain what it does.
no.
But okay, great. But
I was testing.
do you think when you get regular sleep and when you're drunk and you go to sleep, is that the same?
Well, it doesn't feel the same.
A
Not the
plus,
clap.
bro. Give them the
Not the.
rubric, bro. Give them the
Nah,
A
nah.
plus
Get
on the
this
rubric.
5-star rubric out of my face, bro.
Well, I
Uh,
actually want to just talk about this real quick because me personally, I learned this from my friend actually, but I don't know how he knew this, but it is like very different and it affects REM sleep. So obviously you are very much more awake in your sleep, if you will. Like you're not going into that deep sleep when you're drunk as much. It also
really?
causes insomnia, so you're waking up and then constantly being on not on edge but like your brain is always awake, so like you're having this very difficult time falling back asleep. So I researched this for literally like 5 minutes before this, but I heard it first from my friend, but I guess I don't really have a question, but it's more like that is super interesting to me. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because like when you're drunk, I feel like it just like it's like a roller coaster where it's like when you do get tired, at least for me, you like plummet with tiredness. Like you get hit hard where it's like, okay, I can go to bed like right now.
Hmm.
Versus if even if you're not like on a computer or on your phone or on a screen and you just are sober and you try falling asleep at the same time, it will take some time to, get you to start falling asleep. So I mean that would make sense. I didn't know the well, you said insomnia and like not as deep of a sleep, which that makes sense. I guess I've just never thought about like identifying both the two.
Yeah. Well, and
um
we'll probably get into like the factors of like less sleep, but I also think like being drunk and going to bed like contributes a lot of anxiety, and that's why people refer to it as hangxiety, if you will. It's
hmm,
it's like this factor that when you wake up and you're on less sleep, even though your brain, maybe you did wake, you maybe slept 12 hours, but your brain only slept like 6 of those. So obviously anxiety, depression, maybe all that stuff could consist of yeah, drunk sleep. So just a cool topic. I don't know.
damn. I want to take it back to like the actual like zoom out to like the title of this episode. How much sleep do we need? um One, I hinted at it kind of last week, but I think it's very different now, obviously, than it has been in the past because quoting, if no one knows, great, I guess,
Aristotle,
journalist.
everyone knows
No,
this
no, no,
Aristotle, bro.
nah. There's this journalist, is I guess how you would classify him. YouTuber. His name's Johnny Harris. He makes like kind of mini documentaries like every 2 weeks, which is insane because they're like 20 minutes long each, and they like deep dive into certain either historical events or like just topics. And so one he recently did was like, why are we always so tired? And the main kind of consensus from the video was we make so much more decisions than people in the past ever had to do. Like if you think back to caveman times or whatever, it was literally you sleep, you wake up, and you find food, and diversify you in the group, like, hey, do I go get like berries and fruits, or do I have to go like hunt and kill for meat? Like that was like the main decision making. Then you had the actual like combating of getting the food, and then you basically, that was like your day. But now with technology and everything being so, especially with like streaming services, which they give you the freedom of your choice, like what do you want to watch tonight? Oh, you should get Hulu, Paramount, Netflix, Disney Plus. Like there are already so many decisions, and then each lane has unlimited decisions that if even if you're trying to like unwind from just going to work, you get more tired because you are the one having to figure out what to watch. That's a decision you have to make. And the more,
Yeah.
I mean, he breaks it down into like science with like fucking glute, what is it, like glute, I'm gonna sound so dumb because I do not remember it. um Glutatines, glutenins, glute something, not glutes, but like
Gluteninine's nice.
something where the brain literally will just kind of get like clogged up with all the decisions that you make, and that'll make you tired. And caffeine, ironically, it blocks those receptors so you don't feel the tiredness. But then after the caffeine wears off, all of that tiredness hits you at once like a truck, and that's when you get kind of your caffeine crash.
Totally.
um and yeah, I think that's really, I mean, that's a great way, I think, to look at sleep, where it's like you're resetting from all the decisions you had to make. So in my opinion, if you can limit the amount of decisions that you make every day, you'll just be able to not feel as tired. So thus, I think you can be more efficient if you say get 8 hours of sleep. Like I don't have to make the decision of when and where I'm going to the gym, or when I'm
Well,
going to make food.
I think this all also like goes greatly hand in hand with like last week's episode. Like again,
What?
routine. If you what?
Bro, that's so unfortunate. Ryan has left the chat. Bro literally just got
Hello?
delayed by no, I hear you now. You just got delayed for actually two whole sentences.
Oh, that's
What were you saying?
fantastic. Well, what I was trying to say is the previous episode is about routines, and we talked about how if you really do think about a good routine day to day, that takes a lot of stress off of your mind. And literally while you were talking and making your whole point, and I was really trying to follow along, and the reason why that sounds kind of mean, but
No
there was
way.
there was literally an Amber Alert going on. So I was
Oh,
trying to like mute my phone because it's like ringing and like buzzing, and that was a perfect like that was a perfect example of what you were talking about. Like you were saying, you not necessarily just decisions, but you're like constantly thinking about like what you have to do next, right? In today's society, and like you said, with the streaming services, boom, 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 like Hulu, Netflix, whatever it is, and just with my phone, I had to think about, hey, how do I turn it off, on to do not disturb while also listening into you. And just like that 5 to 10 seconds of doing that took
yeah.
up so much more energy and a lot more like then back in the primal days. Like so I think that's a really good point that you had there. And the fact that people are tired, there's definitely science behind it. So
It's a great
sleep is
video.
super important. Yeah, dude, check it out. I think I'm definitely gonna check it out after this. I think that's very,
Yeah,
very cool. So
definitely.
yeah, it's kind of perfect as well because we were talking about like today's society and how people are just always, making decisions, always tired. And I want to talk about some of my past coworkers and actually even like teachers that would do this, but people that got in contact with would always brag about being up early. Well, not always, but a lot of them would. And there was this teacher in general that would always come to class and he was like, yeah, I've been up since 5 a.m. Weren't you guys? And it always seemed like he was bragging and being like the fact that he was up super, super early and getting a start to his day um, kind of came off as a prick. So obviously in America, we have more of this hustle culture. And
Yeah.
although that is okay in a lot of ways, I think it does take away from sleep in a lot of our lives. And I'm not saying that you can't dedicate to it, but I've been in contact with a lot of people that almost brag about this stuff. And so, in my personal opinion, I think people should allow others to be on their own schedule and within means, obviously. You can't be waking up at 5 p.m. and, you know, waking, going back to bed at 3 a.m. like that. Nobody works on those hours for the most part. Um,
Yeah.
but you can achieve the most on somewhat of your own schedule, and I think it's crazy just to assume that somebody that wakes up at 5 goes to bed at 8, that's like the most ideal schedule for everyone. I think it's crazy to brag. So how do you feel about that? And I'm going to also tell you a couple facts afterwards. So
That's really funny you say this because like literally in that Johnny Harris video, he literally talked about how some people biologically, or I guess in their DNA, they literally are built with different sleep cycles because
yep,
back in
yep.
caveman days, right? Some people would have to stay up at night to watch for danger. That then, can pass down through, thousands of years or whatever. And that could mean why you're more of like a night owl versus like or an early bird. And it's literally in like your DNA. I don't actually know how accurate that is, but like in the YouTube video, it said like biologically it's in um you. So like everyone has their own different method. Like you said, no, there's not going to be one method where it's like, hey, I wake up at 5 and or one of those giga chads where it's like I wake up at 4 and then I go to bed at 3 a.m. to maximize my day. It's like, dude, that is not
I drink
sustainable.
Bush Light from 7 p.m. to 3
Push,
a.m., wake up around
push, light.
4, chug some pre-workout, and get back to the biceps. Yep.
I
I've
work
been
out
around people like that.
I work out 12 times a week, so I have to always meet my goal cuz daily is just not enough. No, there's no one goal. So I following that, I also would agree cuz I personally think I am more of like a night owl. However, I feel fucking fantastic when I wake up in the morning and I do shit. If I wake up in the morning and I don't have anything to do, then it's very easy to like go back to bed and it
Same.
feels kind of pointless. Like for example, back in the day, just what would have been 2017, there was an El Clasico game, Real Madrid Barcelona playing, and because they're in Spain, the game was at around noon. So the fucking game was at 5 in the morning here. And
Yep.
so I, at that point in high school, I was never waking up early. And yeah, I asked my dad to drive me over because I couldn't drive myself. And I drove to Ryan's house, and we both agreed to wake up for this game. And we woke up at 4:30, and we watched the game at 5. And I can't remember if I can't remember if I took a nap later or like the rest of that day, but I just remember we woke up at 5 in the morning to watch a soccer game, which was like huge.
Groundbreaking.
Yeah, I would never do that normally, but I didn't fall asleep or feel bored in the moment because it was like I woke up for something.
I think what was also so crazy about that story is like we were kind of going through puberty as well at that point. So like we were in the midst of like wanting to sleep
Yeah.
10 hours a day. Like we were growing guys. So like that was another crazy factor on its own. But yeah,
Yeah.
I to bring it back a little bit to like research, it literally shows that people could get 7 hours and be at their optimal function or need 9.5, and that is literally, like Will said, in your DNA and over the years, whatever it is. But getting your optimal amount of sleep really improves your memory, learning, and decision making, as we all know. And lack of sleep can obviously affect your function as a human being. And my brain genuinely feels like mush when I get too much sleep or way less than the normal amount of sleep that I should. And you know what actually has been proven is that um, you are technically legally drunk. So, like, whatever the legal limit is, you've had alcohol in your system when you have not hit that amount of sleep. Like, to an extent, I think, like, if I'm trying to hit 8 hours of sleep and I have a terrible night of sleep and I hit 5 or 6, my brain is low key drunk, which is kind of crazy to think about. But it is actually true though, and it's actually proven as well. And the reason
Give
I
me
say that
those stats.
is because I have been in class before or been at a job before and had a shitty night of sleep and I don't feel good. And obviously there's a lot of factors to that, but technically you are impaired. It is crazy.
No, I mean, that's huge. Did you have any other? I think I just had a couple more things like not uh like stats, but I had more like tips for like getting to sleep earlier. Like you said, if you do want to sleep, I feel like most people know which sleep schedule they like to do. Like I personally, I honestly I don't even know anymore because I like wake up early and I like doing that because I get to work out. But I think naturally, if I didn't have anything to do, I like staying up later because
Totally.
I just but again, I also don't know if that's like nostalgia playing a role where it's like, oh, you don't have to work tomorrow, so we're gonna stay up and play video games or stay up and edit a video or whatever.
Yeah,
What?
because if you rip video games, sorry to cut you off. Could I just say
No,
this
you're
real
good.
quick? If
Yeah,
if you cut screens and video games and all technology out of your life, do you think you would be like a night owl? Because I
no,
don't think I would either. Like,
no.
yeah. Okay,
I was
so
just gonna
that's a
say,
factor.
what would be the primal time you would like to wake up? Like, if you had a job that was like your dream type of scenario, or like, say we were doing this podcast full time, what time would be optimal for you to wake up where you're just like, I got great sleep and I'm
2
waking
p.m.
up. Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Genuinely, 7 or 8. And the reason I say that is because I think I need about 8 hours of sleep a night, and I go to bed about 11 or 12, and it's
Okay.
just simple math from there. So,
No, that's fair.
what
I
about
mean,
you?
I guess that's not interesting. That's literally the same for me. I used to say like 9, but then it's like I would not want to go to bed at 1. Like I'd rather go to bed at like 12 or 11:30. But then it's like, then I'm getting 9.5, maybe more sleep. And first of all, if I want to like do all the things that I want to do in life, I can't fucking sleep 10 hours a day and expect to get that because that's
Totally.
just too much sleep. I think 8 hours is a good, I mean, that's what they've kind of drilled in everyone's brain since day one. It's like, you need 7 to 8 hours of sleep. You can like function, even though the quality of sleep is realistically what's more important. Cause, there's like REM cycles and whatever.
Yeah,
And
that's
if you
why we
wake up
talked
in the
about.
middle of a cycle, you're fucked. And then you're legally drunk at school, which means you're already in trouble because you're under the drinking age. Um, but I was just gonna say a point that I think also people overlook is if you want to go to bed earlier. If you have insomnia, I feel so bad for you because that shit I guess can't really apply because insomnia
Like
is a
the
whole
cookie
separate
place or
thing.
what?
This bro said the cookie place. If you want to start going to bed earlier, turn off your lights way earlier than you think. Just setting the environment around you to be like, if you have like 4 lights on in your house, and you're like, I want to start falling asleep earlier. Literally just turn 3 of them off, maybe even 2 of them off. So you only have 1 on, and then it feels like you're getting ready to go to bed. And then even if it's like, especially with it getting darker earlier now, like bro, the sun set at fucking 6:15 over here. What the shit is that?
Yeah, that's
So
crazy.
then it's dark for so long. You're like, damn, I guess I'm just gonna go to bed because it's been dark for so long.
Not me currently like trying to reach my light switch because I have every light on in my room. What the? It's literally 9 p.m. over here, and I'm like, I'm just in broad daylight with all these lights. What is? Yeah.
That's crazy. I have 2 lights on.
Yo, I mean, I have
it's
only
only
like
8.
3, but like they're bright as shit. So maybe I need to take that advice. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Well, anything else for today, or can I kick us off?
No, I think that's it.
Wait, not kick us off. Can I end us
Man
off?
said kick us off.
Can I kick you off? All right. Well, that's going to be it for today's episode on the importance of sleep. I'm so glad that we talked about drunkenness so much in this and talked about the statistics. And really do check out that video because I haven't even seen it myself, and it seems so interesting to know what important sleep is. So make sure to tune in to the Care What People Think podcast on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and all other platforms. Please leave us a review or rating to help us out. And thank you so much for listening. And remember, care what people think, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week on 182.3